amount of different heroes.
Well, you have to consider two things. G Pride has been going through the lower bracket longer. Sacred has literally played the least amount of games, even in the upper bracket, because they had
True.
one free round against Lucchini.
Yep.
So there's
10 seconds.
you have to put an asterisk next to that stat.
Fair enough. But we're into the game. Game 1 versus Sacred and Gorilla's Pride.
This looks like more like Silva's pick bands to me. I don't know if I'd call this a game just yet. I mean, I guess you can call this like the actual briefing
game.
Yeah, it is.
Some people say that all of Dota is in the draft. That the draft is more important than the game itself sometimes.
You aren't entirely wrong, but you're not entirely right.
It's true that you can gain a very heavy advantage in the draft. I'd say there are games where you outright lose in the drafts, but those are few and far between.
Yeah, it has to be one of the grossest out drafts ever for that to happen, and you still have to be able to fulfill the roles and live up to the skills needed to make sure that draft lives up to the clear out draft that it was presented at the beginning of the game.
Exactly. Very good point.
Radiant team ban.
We will never get to see a brood mother in this tournament.
No.
Maybe that's for the best.
Maybe in your opinion.
I played her last night, and she is disgusting. She's really good.
So how bad did you lose by?
I think we won. I don't remember. I honestly don't remember. I was offlane and I was doing really well.
And then doesn't even remember the outcome.
It was one of those games where you feel like you lost even if you won. If you know what I mean. We got mega creeps. They almost mega creeps us back, and then we like barely took their base.
Feels bad, man.
Yeah, one of those Dota games.
So, none of these bans are too surprising.
Yeah, these are standard fare. I think we'll probably see Spirit Breaker kick the bucket next, which you usually don't see all three. The top roamers gone.
That would have to be coming out of G Pride. All right, never mind. I guess Sacred really doesn't want to play because they have first pick and they have played Spirit Breaker. So that kind of surprises me that they would take it off the table.
Well,
and
it means they don't want it.
Dire team pick.
Clearly.
Radiant team pick.
Ooh, it's a cool pick. Literally, ice cool.
One that we haven't seen too often has been touched just a little bit in the picks and bans, but yeah, I can only think of one game off the top of my head that I've seen Lich in the streets so far. So interesting that Sacred would go to it here in the lower bracket finals, and Gorillas responding back with the fire to melt the ice.
Now where's Rubik? Isn't that the classic combo? Ogre Rubik. Feel like I saw way too much of that yesterday, or
hey, there's still an opportunity. Okay, that's all I'm saying.
10 seconds remaining.
Don't rule it out.
Yeah, they were playing it a lot versus CES, so maybe they're considering it.
Wow.
Nope, they're just living up to today's standards.
Hell yeah, Tiny!
Earthshaker.
I love these picks so far. This is a very different draft than we've seen. So could be roaming, could be offlane. Tiny is definitely going to carry.
10 seconds.
I'm more inclined to believe that this Earthshaker is going to be 4.
Yeah.
Because Iron Talent doesn't exist anymore. And I mean, we've seen an Earthshaker in a one-on-one lane, and it didn't really work out so well. I mean, it was one-on-one against a Tide. That's kind of unfair to say. But it's a hero that he will get some, or he can get some levels and a little bit of CS with Fissure. But if there's any kind of contention against him in the lane, he can't really sit there. So before 707, he was able to fall back in the jungle, get a couple of creeps, and make sure to stay closely relevant while he was working his way to his Blink Dagger. Can't do that anymore. So it's really suspect to put him in the off lane by himself, or even with help, just to give him that kind of farm priority. Like he's a target.
Yeah, definitely a lot of vulnerabilities on Earthshaker as an offlaner. I'm just thinking that I know King Tekka played him last, so it makes me think that that's what he is. But maybe their roamer can also rock a quick. I don't know. They're banning out the Tide. That's who we had a bad time against.
I'm just double checking behind this, and yeah, that game won against Leviathan. That was a rough lane.
That was a brutal lane.
5 seconds remaining.
And like again, I remember you commenting in that specific lane that the levels were even, which they were, but the farm just
it wasn't even close.
Yeah, and then like Monkeys Forever was just able to kick King Tekka clean out of the lane and take to tower at that point because there was no support who could come help him in that game. I think this will be a little different caliber kind of a game because it's looking at the support so far. You have one really defensive in Lich, going to make one lane virtually impenetrable, a solid wall of defense. And Ogre is not like the most threatening roamer. He's annoying as all get out, but it's not like Night Stalker coming in or something like that.
This might sound a little crazy. I feel like Sacred is angling for a Huskar pick.
Are you gonna say that based on the AA ban, or
not just the AA, but I also just think it's good.
AA, they have some Lich armor for it, long disable to help protect him when he jumps in. It's
the only thing is that Huskar is very susceptible to physical damage, and Tiny does a lot of it.
Oh yeah, Tiny's definitely strong. I think it will be more telling based on the next heroes they take, if they're going to try to run some sort of a Huskar lineup.
Yeah, they need more CC, right? They need more stuns.
They need a lot of stuns to make him work. Because basically you want to allow the Huskar to go in and kill everyone, but everyone also has to be locked down while he's doing that.
I don't like that Huskar ID anymore, man.
Yeah,
no
Huskar
way against Brew.
There's very few heroes who are good versus Brewmaster. He's an incredible hero. I'm actually shocked that they didn't ban him, but I guess they banned out the Tide.
And the Puck. Gotta ban out that Puck, G Pride. They don't
Otherwise,
want to
they'll
have
pick
any
it.
free wins.
They'll pick it and they'll lose accidentally.
Yeah, that's the strat. You ban the Puck so that you don't make a mistake, hover over it, on the pick screen, and just hand yourself a free loss. Like, what's Puck's win rate at this point? I know it's still in the trash can, but has it cracked 20 yet?
No, it's 15%.
Damn.
And Puck has been like one of the most shown heroes, and it's one of the lowest win rates.
All right, so you were right on the Earthshaker, because that bat's definitely going to go off lane or try to match up against the Brewmaster solo.
Pretty good pick, being able to hold Tiny in place so he can't unload all of the damage. Could possibly catch Brew before the split goes off. A lot of control around the field as well. And there's our Rubik we were looking at, all the way down to the 4th pick.
It's because they weren't worried about it getting banned out. They could just get it at their leisure later.
Yeah, it's much smarter drafting by Gorilla's Pride.
Right. But I would still kind of think that if Sacred had been looking at how the games have been lately, at least in Blood in the Street, they would have heavily considered banning Rubik at some point in time, especially if they really wanted to take an anti-mage. Like, I mean, again, it's not like you see a Rubik, I'm not going to pick Annie, but if you know they've been playing that dynamic duo and they've had some pretty good success, it's a good idea to take it away from them, because picking AM and Shaker into a Rubik gives him two very powerful skills that he's very liable to have.
Okay. This might be a hot take. That could be a bat mid.
What in the world gives you that idea, man?
I feel like they want Magnetar.
I feel like G Pride wants Mirana.
G Pride probably wants Mirana. Yeah. Mirana's a perfect round off for their lineup. I don't know why. I love Magnetar. I think he's really strong.
10 seconds remaining.
Would you believe me if I told you G Pride has not played Mirana?
Wow. That's
unless
crazy.
unless I've missed a game somewhere, I do not believe they played Mirana at all in the street. So,
Oh my god, they could put AM mid too.
three strength heroes or two
Three.
cores.
I mean, still Tree.
Pretty good.
I like that pick.
The only thing that concerns me is Timbersaw
10
is
seconds
typically
remaining.
best against that almost trickle of
5
physical
seconds
damage
remaining.
over time, whereas G-Pride's going to be far more in the burst physical damage direction with Tiny especially.
You may now select your heroes.
God, both their teams are solid.
Yeah.
Leo style is their mid, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be a mid Timber.
I'm wondering if they're gonna go. I don't think this is the type of team you try to go aggro with. You can't go aggro with an anti-mage.
Not with a Lich and an Earthshaker.
Nah.
Yeah, it's not strong enough. So they're
Because
just
like
gonna protect
Earthshaker
him.
can roam, but Masoku's going to be best off as a defensive support, just keeping the lane pulled back and other things in that sort of spectrum.
Is it?
Yee.
I'm so confused at what their lanes are gonna be.
At whose?
It could be Tiny mid, not carry. Tiny
It
or
is.
Tiny or PL could be mid.
Tiny's mid, because unless they swap roles, because Chris Brown has been their mid player.
It could all be a trick. All right, boys. Any thoughts on which way this is gonna go?
I want to
like
favor
it.
G-Pride here, personally.
Same. But the main reason I want to favor them is because they've been allowed to have their support duo that they've been so successful with in the past few days, and there's not a whole lot of opposition to stop them running around the map. I mean, they're gonna have a tough time cracking through whatever lane Lich is in. There's gonna be some like counter initiation from Shaker wherever he's at, but it's not like they ever have to play on the back foot. So they can really put a good amount of pressure on the AM. They can like make Bat had a slow start. I don't know so much about the Timber lane, but the big thing is they can make the space that they need to for Chris Brown to start getting his levels up so he can start taking Ancients, maybe get some room for Amy so that he can get a Blink Dagger and get the ball rolling before the AM comes online.
It looks like they are going aggro though,
30 seconds
with where the
to
Timber
battle.
Saw is positioned.
You said they couldn't do it, but
They're
the
doing
Summit,
it.
as Summit qualifiers are trying to prove you wrong, homie.
Can we talk about how adorable this Tiny is while holding a tree at level 1?
He's a cutie.
It's so goddamn adorable, and I mean, I'm not usually one to go to that sort of extent, but it's like he's just got on a big fat smile on his
Battle
face.
begins.
He looks like he's struggling to carry that thing, dude. It's like twice his size.
All right, boys. Good luck. Have fun to both teams and yourselves.
Word.
All right, guys, here we go. This is the lower bracket finals. One team will move on, the other will fade away. And it's G-Pride versus Sacred here. Surprisingly enough, it is going to be an anti-mage with a Lich in the mid lane. And right now, we've got a tri-lane mid at a G-Pride.
It's
And
technically a try versus try, as you have Matthew in the back trying to see if he can sniper carrier. But seeing as there's no vision on him, G-Pride has decided to leave the chick back at base so far and allow him to come in the back. They'll be able to get a lot of damage out of this fissure. Good
Oh,
block coming out
man.
on Chris Brown as well.
they're going to be able to pressure him out here, and Benji's only getting one poke on him, and that's okay. Moger rotated down to the bottom lane early on before that altercation happened, but, you know, even still, I feel like this favors the Lich anti-mage.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Oh my
Especially-
god, look at that fissure coming out yet again. Get off so much damage here with Benji's, and he's stuck. Chris Brown, are you going to be the first one to go? It looks very likely. He eats the Fairy Fire. Benji's able to get that first Blood.io, and Masoku was holding that Frost Blast. He really wanted Chris Brown to get it, but top lane, Amy taking out Leo style. He tried to use that Timber Chain to get away, and whoa, so much murder.
Yeah, top lane was kind of questionable. Don't know exactly what happened for Brew to be able to kill a Timbersaw, but the bottom lane is what I've been kind of harping about to start things off. There's the Ogre, Rubik combo, lift into a Fire Blast.
Mid lane, Chris Brown going down. Masoku scooping up the kill there. Whew. We're already averaging 2 kills a minute. Let's keep it up, boys. That's some firstblood.io.
Oh, yeah. First through fourth.
And it's interesting in the top lane seeing Amy and Leo trading hits like this so aggressively, because you're right, Amy shouldn't be able to scoop these kills like he had been previously, but the strength of the Drunken Brawler, can we really put it in on that?
Maybe.
Because it's burst physical damage, so we're not seeing the reactive armor get up to snuff quick enough, and I think that's where we're able to see that impact happen.
I see Masoku coming up here to try to pull the lane back a little bit in way of sacrifice, but I kind of wish you'd start stacking or come down here to help out King Tekka, because my man's down here is having one of the hardest lanes in his life. Let me get back to you on that, because I hear Ignite coming out in a Fire Blast on the Matthew. King Tekka getting tossed down by the Rubik. And like this bottom lane for Sacred, like it's not the worst case because mid's going okay, top's going okay, but what I was getting at is Devat is just, he's got 2 CS to his name right now. Not a good look.
I was going to say that's probably a bad thing. Oh,
okay.
What's going on here? Matthew getting the Fissure off on Stan Adler. He's going to have to run back off this, though. Batrider, what is going on, Mr. Batrider? He's getting lifted back in. Steinadler continuing forward here. He will have a Fade Bolt available, down to 140 HP. Steinadler continuing forward. He isn't going to get it. He uses the magic wand. There we go. Steinadler will trade his life for that in the end, but hashtag worth.
Oh, man, yeah, taking your, one of your supports, I think he's the 4th position. He's one of the supports, and you getting rid of the offlaner who's already had a bad start, leaving your PL to himself. That's, like you said, hashtag worth.
You know, Family is having a pretty good time, though.
He hasn't had anybody in his lane. Like, yeah, King Tekka was there for like a minute and a half or so, not even that, but he couldn't step up, and he's about to go down again. Finds the Ogre in the middle of the night, stabbed by the Lancer, and within a minute, that's the 2nd time the bat has fallen in the middle lane.
Mid lane, Chris Brown getting hit with that fissure, jumping forward from Benji's here. One more hit, able to finish him off. Masoku's been making some serious movement for a hero that is typically classified as being a very defensive support. The movement he's making is building so much space.
I don't know how you're going to give Masoku all the credit when it was the nice fissure from Matthew. Sure, it wasn't enough to get the block, but just the damage and the stun to allow Ben Jazz to step up really sealed the deal for Sacred. And I think they're going to try to swoop in on middle, see if they can take Chris Brown down again.
Dire's bottom tower is
And this is the problem with running a Tiny in general, because he's a little awkward in the early laning phase.
Hey, come
needs
top.
a lot of
Come
babysitting.
top. Come top.
Top, Leo style. What's the talk about on top? Leo style is already dead.
Well, the talk is, guess who's already up here? Stein and Mauger. Just another day in the office for them to lift in the Fire Blast. And even though that's a level 5 Timber, that was not enough reactive armor to truck through that gank.
I was not anticipating this Brewmaster to be running on a Timbersaw that hard, but we're still seeing it happen here in the top lane. Using the Primal Spit, Leo style, forced to use his chain out, and he's not going to have any damage here, really. Cyclone is available if he wants to use it. There's another whole world they're coming out, and just surely but surely, he's chipping down Leo style. Probably going to be able to finish him up on here. Able to get with the Dispel, and now Amy, what's going on here? You're not going to have the mana. A couple more seconds, might be able to see that happen, but Leo style is actually kind of playing with him right here. Now we got Steinhandler with the rotation, the lift. He's not able to right-click through it, though. Steinhandler is not having a good day, and Amy goes down! Hey, that's some serious regeneration coming out from Leo style.
Got all the way to the max stacks. Had 8 stick charges just when the Rubik came in the back with the Fade Bolt. It was good looks from Leo style to sit there and hold on for as long as possible. Bait the Brew under the tower and just take him down. Oh, man. But with all that, the dynamic duo is coming back to the middle lane to see if they can make some space for their Rockman.
This is what they need to do. Tiny is not having the best of times, but he's not having the worst of times. All right, action's happening here. Mid lane, Batrider jumping forward. Chris Brown throwing out a stun. Benji's wants to continue forward, going with the blink. Chasing on him, and they are going to be able to get that kill. Benji's committing the ultimate on him. They're still continuing underneath the tower. Mogert going down now. And he's still going. Matthew hitting that fissure in on Steinadler. 3 of those sticky napalm stacks, and Benji's able to clean that one up. Great movement by their Batrider, recognizing that there were some serious kill opportunity in the mid lane, and that, yeah, Phantom Lancer's going to be farming, and he's having a pretty good time himself, but making some serious action happen for the anti-mage as a pick-me-up.
Oh, yeah, with the Ring of Health and that allowed Ben Jazz to just keep pushing through the tower and lead the charge as they took down 3. Now, like you were hinting at, I want somebody to come down here and do something about this PL, because that is the only saving grace that Gorillas have right now. Matthew's trying to do something, but he's only a level 4 Shaker, and that is a level 8 Phantom Lancer chasing him up the steps. Not going to get the bounty room, but still going to see if he can hunt down this bear. Matthew's just trying to scuttle himself away. Takes another lance to the backside, and with the Phantom Rush in, nice totem. Oh, he thought about the fissure, held it, and just held his heart as he went down. Meanwhile, I thought more was happening in the top lane. My bad. Just fighting over a stack. Nothing big.
Well, they did poke in on that courier for a second, so...
It's got a shield. It's fine.
Now it don't. Uh-oh. Primal Split dedicated once again, and now here comes Batrider. He needs to retreat.
He's fine.
Yeah, you're right. Earth Spirit, or the Earth...
Panda?
Split? Panda? Yeah. All right, well, he's going to run away. He'll be fine overall. Amy getting back in underneath his own tier 1 tower where he feels safety is, and Leo's rotating across that map.
Yeah, I like the idea just to be a big beefcake in front of the PL, not let him get a tower for free. Sure, he might not be able to do the most to stop the farm unless he just catches this Phantom Lancer, but the main objective is to hold on to the tower, which is why Masoku's down here as well.
Oh, top lane, Amy's gonna go down.
I hope you guys aren't trying to go into that, because you ain't got no damage up there.
I mean, Amy was hoping for something, but that's not the type of situation to be in, especially with your Primal Split off the cooldown.
Middle lane, bottom
lane. Let's talk on that one. We've got the... Yeah, Phantom Lancer's gonna get melted. Good on Mr. Leo style, and this is the type of thing that they needed to have happen, but Phantom Lancer already has his Diffusal Blade.
Part of me wants to be kind of shocked and amazed, like, really? How does he have a Diffusal Blade? But again, he's just been allowed to show us how well his CS skill has been in the bottom lane, and the first bit of action he had was far too late, in my opinion. I mean, sure, he doesn't have the bots to bounce around the map yet, but when fights start breaking out around towers, or when G-Pride starts to get the idea of push, he can actually show up and being a big contributor to anything that's going down. Can't say the same for the Anti-Mage just yet, who's right behind him on the network chart, but is still about 600 shy of that prize Demon Edge to allow him to really be able to hit the creeps with a completed Battle Fury.
Yeah, and we're looking at different item timings and different power spikes too between those two heroes. Anti-Mage wants to get a Battle Fury, and as much as he can look to take fights at that point, it's really going to be the CS game that's going to start to explode, and Phantom Lancer has the Diffusal, and that isn't going to be the sort of thing he's going to be caring about, because he's looking to fight once he has that puppy in his pocket.
Top tower has been denied.
For the record, in the top lane, Mager was trying to see if he can give a little vision to Amy as they push the tower, ran into King Tekka, and Matthew more specifically. Matthew just kind of blocked him off, locked him in a fiery pit with the Batrider. Honestly, not too exciting. I say that, but I hope it was still on camera. Don't need all the camera emotes happening in Twitch. Probably
TT
did, though.
Taurus. So how do you like Tiny as a hero in 707 with all the changes that have happened to him?
In the beginning, I was kind of like everybody else, even though I'm largely ignorant to the big scope of things. But I looked at him and I was like, he has no agi, he has no grow, and I saw like the beginning games of people trying him, and they just look terrible. But as I've seen some teams actually draft him and play around him, I'm starting to really come in tune with the power that he presents. Not just the power of the burst damage that he's always had, but the heroes that get played now, more specifically the expendable supports, which are toss fodder to set people up to come in at the end of the day. Now, we're not really seeing that.
Batrider taking some heavy fire here. Yeah, able to get the primal split off before the Fisher connects in on him, and Masoku throwing out that Chain Frost, and another pause. Some disconnections happening here.
Oh, no.
Seems like we got some connection issues yet again, unfortunately.
Man, somebody could just A-click him on the tower. We'd be fine.
But I don't even know what to say about that, you know.
And while that was happening, I was going to start talking about the hunt that Chris was leading against Benjaz, but Benjaz was able to blink out. So, yeah, not too much really happening there. It's going to be about the split versus Chain Frost in the top lane.
Yeah, Batrider is pretty low, and with the Primal Split already committed in, I would anticipate this being a death that is about to happen, but it wouldn't be the first time for me to get something like that wrong.
That'd be status quo for you, but a serious question.
It'd be the first time today.
I probably could find something if I really wanted to, but no, serious question, since I do not play Brew and I can't get this when I hover, is King Tekka in Cyclone range from the Storm Panda? Because if he's in range of that, he's pretty much done. He is not.
No, he's not in it just yet.
Oh, he is now, so hard-pressed to find him getting away from that. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, Leo came to save his buddy, the anti-mage.
And we saw the Echo committed in on the top lane. What? We have a buyback here by the Batrider. Masoku about to go down here. Batrider rotating in, actually not falling. Matthew getting off the fissure. There's the lasso. They might be able to have enough here to hold down Amy. And Masoku lives. That Batrider buyback seeming like it paid off pretty well. And now they're going to put the pressure in on the mid lane. Benji's is forced back. He almost has his Demon Edge. In fact, there it is, bought on the courier on the way.
On one end, I look at the buyback and I question how much it was worth, especially since King Tekka couldn't get the last hit himself. But on the other end of the spectrum, Amy doesn't have any items yet. Like he has shreds, but he has a Midas queued up and he's thinking about a blink. So that death strategically puts him a little further away from it. And it puts both of them as the first initiation relatively close to the same blink dagger timing, if, assuming they would like keep the same amount of GPM. So it's pretty much worthwhile at the end of the day just to trip Amy up on the race to the blink dagger. And speaking of,
look at that, Bruce going for my favorite item.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, it's a Midas.
No, I know it's a Midas. I just said that. This guy.
My favorite item.
But now thinking about other things that could come into fruition, Leo Style is down here contemplating of a hood. Has a perseverance though, so a little bit of the ways there. AM does have his battle fury. Don't know exactly what time he got it, but we'll just call it under 13 to make him look really good. Something that's not really good though is this gank happening in the top lane. Poor Matthew's been caught out. I saw a TP get canceled. Nobody wants to show up and be a victim to that as well. But in the bottom lane, that's a trade that is going to Sacred in a bigger trade because that's a tier 2 tower down as well.
It's crazy how Sacred has such an advantage, but only with certain heroes. Map-wise, a lot of this really favors G-Pride, and because of the pacing of what a Phantom Lancer is going to be looking to do and the time behind it, I feel like all the pacing is going to be on G-Pride, even though Sacred has this minor advantage. And look at that, Masoku, mid lane, Chain Frost, connecting in on both Moger and Chris Brown. Rubik going to steal the Frost Blast. We've got 1-2 dead. Stun is still continuing out here. They're trying to...
Ooh, that bloodless PL, let's go.
Oh, he's ready for murder. The Diffuse Blade action has happened. Leo Style not going to have any mana. Steinadler picking up that kill there. That's a killing spree going to him.
But it's going to Stein and it's not going to the PL, which, I mean, it's a kill nonetheless, but the bigger thing that happened at the end of the day was
that's
the
ward money. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, but even though wards do help out to win games, is that as important as your carry getting the last hit? Not really. Because the bigger thing that happened was Benjaz was able to get the last hit on Chris Brown, allowing him to get a smaller lead over the PL in the net worth chart. Again, not the biggest one, but still, like, it's really crucial to see where the money goes when these skirmishes break out. We're trying to see if we can get a little more in the pockets of G-Pride as they see Matthew. But the creeps actually block Steiner for a second. When he steps in, he gets the fissure, fizzes him down, but nobody wants to commit on that. Little too close to the tier 2 tower.
Oh, we've got the ultimate committed in. Echo Slam to stop that TP from Steinadler. Leo Style coming forward, able to clean him up.
I mean, I don't know how close anything was to coming off a cooldown, but yeah, you're not going to take that fissure and walk away from Matthew. Jeez. And they're still actually trying to chase Amy. They are. Lil Style just trying to see if he can chain to the banner, which does not work. You know, Amy could buy the Blink Dagger if he wanted to. Has 30k or he has the Blink Dagger. I don't need to say anything more. And we're gonna see the reveal of it right here in the middle lane as he's TPing behind the tree. Doesn't want to blink in onto an anti-mage, but still showed it to him nonetheless.
I like that you got the Blink before a Midas, if he is still considering a Midas, because Midas doesn't help you get kills. It really doesn't. You want to wish it does, but nope.
I think he's just leaving it on sticky buy, because immediately after buying the Blink, he queued up a Radiance as well. So it's just, you know, so much easier not try to deal with the UI. Speaking of Blinks, we see the debut of King Tekka's Blink, but he doesn't get a last on it. There's a split coming out on the backside.
Chain Frost also, that's going to take out that Fire Panda very quickly, and the Storm Panda almost going down. So they need to be kind of careful here. Leo Style taking a stun across the face from that Earth Panda, and what is going on here? That Whirling Death, in conjunction with that fissure from the Matthew Man, going to be enough to take him down.
I mean, he was moving the Storm Panda away. I don't want to go as far as to honestly call that Miss Micro, but I don't think he was. I hope he didn't think he was going to stay up there, because yeah, that's a Timber, and that was still a good pick against the Brew. In the middle lane, though, Matthew showing his Blink Dagger as he gets to block Chris Brown off, who just casually turns around, gets the CS, and oh, he thought about walking.
He's got a Blink. He's jumping down in on this. Chris Brown throwing Leo Style up to the high ground, jumping forward. Matthew able to scoop that. They're not done just yet. Leo Style wants something here, but Batrider is under 150 HP here.
Nice.
Blinks out to disjoint that projectile. Phantom Lancer has joined the fray with his Boots of Travel, and he has Yasha now completed as well. He'll be jamming at a much higher move speed, up to 440 MS actually. And we're gonna see Sacred Shrine up, then move out as Timbersaw has completed his Bloodstone. And there are some serious amounts of blinks going on in this game already. I mean, aside from the anti-mage, who has it innately, Earth and Bat and the Brew, all looking to see how much they can do by catching the enemy out of position with that level of initiation they provide.
Well, getting off of Blinks, Benjaz just picked up his mana as well, so
bottom lane, Steinhandler wanted to TP out. Matthew able to catch him, hits him with a fissure, not going to be able to TP home. Continuing forward here with the Enchant Totem. Matthew, are you going to be able to get him here? It looks like it's possible. Man. Yep, there he goes. But across from it all, Leo Style actually cutting in on this wave, and we do have the Batrider man helping him out.
Radiant's middle tower
He
is
cut
under
into the
attack.
wave, cut into the rock. Took a little hit from the tower as well. Things are still looking really solid for Sacred as they're sitting 7K up on the net worth chart. Have so much map control with tier 2 tower down and bot, tier 1's down in mid and top. And they still have their tier 1 mid, so solid amount of control. A lot of room for this Anti-Mage to just bounce around the map at free will.
Radiant
We got a scan coming out from the Radiant. Thinking that they're going to find something here to help them out knowledge-wise, but not going to happen just yet. Mid lane, we've got a lot of movement happening here from Team Sacred. They have some deep vision down too. I like this.
I was gonna say I like how Sacred keeps poking out from the middle lane to try to take this tier 2 and give all of the jungle to Ben Jazz to farm, because in my mind the one to do to kind of stabilize this game thus far is to try to take the mid tier 1 out, just to make it a little really hazardous for Ben Jazz to think about taking the Ancients on the Radiant side and opening up the Roche if they ever wanted to go there. But they can't really leave their base. There's just always a Timber sitting on their side of the tier 2 tower. They have to worry about the threat of King Tekka. They have to worry about Matthew with his Blink Dagger, even though he's showing in the bottom lane. There's just so many angles of attack that Sacred are threatening with.
Phantom Lancer is doing some work here on the Timber Saw, but even though he's doing some mana burning of his own, it's not translating to that much overall, because the reactive armor regeneration does really nicely against all of these things poking at him. He may have no mana, but
Shadowblade debut coming in hot.
Oh yeah, he was able to find a lot of action there. Amy actually scooping that one up, and I love the Shadowblade on Mr. Chris Brown.
Oh, they get the lift onto the animation bottom. Yo, they took the tree at him. That still does absolutely nothing but look awesome.
Yo, Steinlander got a blink. This is, I'm not gonna be too presumptuous here, but you're a big Rubik player yourself. I don't know how much you enjoy stealing and using blink on a Rubik without having a dagger of your own to call home.
I mean, we don't have to talk about that too much. As Stein literally just picked up his blink, or he literally bought it. He's walking back to base to get the mana cord. So
double blink.
Yeah, that's gonna be so good for him, especially with having a Shadow Bladed Tiny to scout out for him, so he doesn't have to take any crazy blinks. Because it's going to be a little while before they can get some deep vision to actually track down this Anti-Mage. Because Ben Jazz is still farming up a storm, sitting at 1,500K, working his way towards a butterfly.
I mean, we've got a 2,300 range initiation.
We have a ball just got tossed in the... Yo, that's not how it's supposed to work out, dude.
Nah, that Echo was on point. Now we got the Batrider hitting out with that lasso. Chris Brown forced to use a Shadow Blade to disengage. Leo style wants to jump forward. Not going to connect in on anybody just yet, but we have the Fissure, mostly just dealing with illusions, though.
I still can't believe that happened. Just tossed the Brood to his death, and what a teammate.
Yo, that Echo. I love getting that extra value of just the jungle creeps for your Echo ultimate. It's
right.
Ugh, just so delicious. I like that the Rubik's been holding on to this blink as long as possible, because 2,300 range that he can move in like a second is insane.
But there's not a whole lot, no places he can really go with it, because their vision is getting taken out one by one, since King Tekka is armed with the gem, making sure to snip out any vision that he can find, although he's still missing one ward. But yeah, there's like nowhere for Stein to really play with all this mobility. Still has to stay huddled behind his team. Like, their stomping grounds are getting snuffed out ward by ward as their last bit of outside vision, or their second to last bit of outside vision, goes down. But what's happening over here in the jungle, man?
Oh no, not too much to worry about with that one. We got Batrider and this Primal Split coming out now here. Masoku throwing out her Chain Frost. Does a lot of damage to this Primal Split, and actually Batrider gonna be okay. He's gonna walk out from this, but Chris Brown gonna go down. Matthew gonna be the one to help that kill be secured, and Amy blinking back. Batrider wants to have some sort of action happen here. Anti-Mage is ready. Another blink will be available. He has Butterfly finished also, so he's able to chase him down with that Flutter help, and he is just destroyed.
Tier 3 or Roche, or I guess they could also go tier 2, but they already have a creep wave right here, so they can try to quote-unquote force a buyback. They don't know Bro doesn't have his, I believe. They might, seeing as he has a Midas off cooldown. Oh, no.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
But
Reminds me of myself.
Radiant's middle tower has
but even
fallen.
with that thought, tier 3 is no more. Mid-racks,
This
same.
is so crazy. They're pressing in on this high ground. And I mean, we're not seeing any Leviathan sub 20-minute pressure and ending game sort of nonsense, but we had a mid anti-mage also, okay?
I mean, you say it's just a mid anti-mage. It was really a mid tri-lane that just got so much space for him. And sure, they sacked the bottom lane to the PL, but it's looking like Ben Jazz has been winning the arms race the entire time. Still sitting on top of the net worth chart with his Manta, Battle Fury, and his Butterfly. Thinking about a Basher next,
Radiant's
and
top tower
I
is
think
under
everything
attack.
is played into the hands of Sacred. Like, they've weathered. What's up?
The Timbersaw and the Anti-Mage both have 730 experience per minute chiming through on those guys. That's just insane experience growth, and I mean, the Anti-Mage is mirroring that on his GPM also. But just absolutely wild to see that sort of nonsense happen there.
Yeah, with that high GPM, that shows why they're the only two who cracked level 20. Ben Jazz with the infamous Blink Illusion, so he has an extra buddy whenever he wants to call the squad to take towers. You see him leaving one behind as he goes into the fray.
Yeah, Chris Brown throwing out a toss right now, getting a little bit of control here, and he's just gonna fall. Matthew using his Shadow Amulet to try and mitigate as much of this initiation possibility from the Brewmaster, but they're chasing forward on here. Moger about to go down. Leo style securing the kill on him, but they're jumping forward on Steinadler. He's also been taken out, and Moger is calling a GG. That is G-Pride taking a L, and Sacred
I'm glad you got that.
just showing a very dominating